Hey everyone, and welcome to In Focus with Ken Clough Photography. I'm Ken Clough, wedding photographer, videographer, and visual storyteller. I'm thrilled you're joining me today. We're diving into a topic I'm really passionate about: cinematic wedding videography. What it is, why it matters, and how I bring a couple's story to life on screen. If you've ever wondered what makes a wedding film feel like a romantic movie instead of just a highlight reel, you're in the right place. There's so much heart and intention behind the scenes, and today I'm pulling back the curtain. First, what is cinematic videography? Well, let's start with the basics. What exactly do I mean by cinematic videography? It's not just a recording of events, it's a visual love story. Think about the way a movie makes you feel, how it pulls you in, sets a tone, captures beauty in the details, and carries you through an emotional story. That's the experience I aim to create with every wedding story. One of the ways I achieve that look is by shooting much of your day at 24 frames per second instead of the typical 60. That slower frame rate gives your footage a softer, more elegant, and timeless feel, the kind you associate with a movie, not a camcorder. It's a subtle touch, but it makes a huge difference in how the final film feels. Capturing moments that matter. Let's talk about the moments, those quick flashes of time that end up meaning everything. Sure, I'll be there for the first kiss and the big entrance, but what I truly live for are those unscripted in-between moments. The way you glance at each other when you think no one's watching, the small laugh during your vows, the deep breath before you walk down the aisle. These are the gold, the real, emotional, human parts of the day. My job is to stay present and observant, always anticipating those fleeting, beautiful interactions. That's where the magic lives, and it's those moments that give your film its emotional weight. Planning the story, from vision to B-roll. One thing that sets my approach apart is that I start with the end in mind. Before I ever hit record, I'm already thinking about how your finished wedding reel will look, sound, and feel. That vision guides everything I do, from the shots I plan to the music I imagine pairing with your vows. A big part of that process is storyboarding, which in simple terms means mentally mapping out the flow of your film. I think about the opening sequence, how your story unfolds, and the emotional beats we'll hit along the way. Of course, real life isn't a movie set. Things change, moments surprise us, but having a clear vision helps me be intentional with every frame I capture. And that's where the B-roll comes in. B-roll is all the supporting footage, like your invitation styled on a table, your hands brushing together during portraits, candles flickering at sunset, or even the wind in the trees near your ceremony. It's not the main action, but it adds depth, texture, and feeling. It connects scenes, sets the mood, and reinforces the story visually. I spend time on the wedding day capturing these details because they help tell your story. When you watch a film later, it's not a sequence of events, it's a cohesive, emotional journey, and that's the goal every time. Unique angles and cinematic techniques. What also sets my videography apart is the creative use of angles and movement to give your film a dynamic, artistic edge. You might see a shot captured from ground level as you walk across the lawn, highlighting the texture of your dress or the scattered flower petals underfoot, or a high-angle view of your ceremony setup, giving a grander sense of space and ambiance. These aren't just cool camera tricks. They serve a purpose. They draw the viewer's eye, add visual interest, and help tell your story from a new perspective. I often use equipment like gimbals for smooth tracking shots and sliders for gentle cinematic movement. Each shot is intentional, designed to give your film a rhythm that feels both natural and visually stunning. The magic happens in the edit. Let me take you behind the scenes for a second, because while capturing the day is important, the real transformation happens during editing. This is where your story comes to life. I carefully curate the footage, choosing the best shots not just for how they look, but how they feel. I match them with the music that reflects your personality and the energy of the day, whether that's soft and romantic, upbeat and fun, or something uniquely you. I sync emotional moments to subtle audio cues, add natural sound to enhance realism, and fine-tune color to give the entire film a cohesive look. It's a labor of love that can take hours, sometimes days, but it's worth every second. The result is a polished, emotionally resonant reel that you'll treasure for a lifetime. Why videography is worth it. Now, I know that for some couples, videography can feel like an optional add-on, but I really believe it's one of the most meaningful investments you can make. Photos capture still moments, but video, it brings those moments back to life. You hear the crack in your partner's voice during the vows, the laughter during your best friend's speech, the music during your first dance. It's an experience you'll feel all over again, and one you can share with future generations. It's not just for now, it's forever. And when I get messages from couples saying they cried, laughed, or saw something they completely missed on the wedding day, I know I've created something that truly matters. Some final thoughts and client experience. When you choose to work with me, you're not just hiring someone to point a camera. You're partnering with someone who is deeply invested in your story in the way that it is told. I take the time to get to know you both, what makes your relationship special, what kind of vibe you're dreaming of, and how it can make your film feel like you. I plan ahead, think through lighting, and stay flexible because, as we know, wedding days can shift in the blink of an eye. At the end of the day, I want you to feel like you're in good hands. I want you to watch your wedding reel and say, yes, that's exactly how it felt. Well, thanks so much for joining me on this episode of In Focus with Ken Clough Photography. If you're planning your big day and thinking about capturing in a way that feels real, romantic, and truly unforgettable, let's talk. I'd love to help tell your story in a way that it deserves to be told. You can see examples of my work and get in touch through my website or on Instagram at Ken's Portraits. And as always, if you have questions or ideas for future episodes, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay inspired and stay in focus.